Well, hello. Today we are graphing systems of inequalities in slope-intercept form. What? There are systems of inequalities? Weird. Yes. Okay, so let's break it down. If you remember from the last unit, systems of inequalities, most of the time you would just have whoops, hold on. You would just have two lines and they'd cross somewhere, and wherever they cross, that would be your solution, right? That one point. So like 2 comma 7 or whatever it was. Yeah, well, okay, so that's not really happening too much anymore. Well, they do, many times they will still intersect at a point, but that one point may or may not be the only solution, okay? There could be a whole region of solutions for a system of inequalities. Let's go through the first one so you can kind of see a little bit better about what I am talking about. So let's zoom in here. Now, today, they're all going to be in slope-intercept form. So they're ready for you to graph. I'm going to graph them in two different colors, and then I'm going to explain to you how to find the solution. So I'm going to graph this top one in blue, because I have blue picked out already. So I'm going to start at +1, and then I'm going to follow my slope, which is 1 as well. So I just go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. So just like I normally would, and then I'm still going to connect with a solid or a dotted line. In this case, it would be a solid line. Let's see if I can get the line tool to work out well. Not bad, I'll take it, okay? And here is something that I like to do. This is not necessary, but I think it's helpful for me personally. Now, if I was only graphing that one inequality, I would say, okay, y is greater than, so I'm going to shade above. So normally I would just go in here, woohoo, but I'm not going to do that this time. I'm not going to do that. What I am going to do is I'm going to draw for myself what I call little reminder arrows. That means, yes, I do want to be above this line. So I'm just going to remind myself, hey, you're going to graph above this line at some point, but I'm not going to do it yet because I have to graph my other line first, okay? And then I'll come back and worry about that. So let's go ahead and graph the next line. Let's do that one in, let's do it in red. Why not? So I'm going to graph this one in red. I'll start at -2. And then my slope is 4. So I'm going to go up 4 over 1, up 4 over 1. This one is going to get connected with a solid line as well. Let's see if I can. Ooh, yes, very nice. Okay. So for the red graph, now pretend that the blue graph wasn't even there. Let's just look at the red graph. The red graph, it says y is greater than, so I would shade above this one. So again, I'm going to just give myself a couple of little reminder arrows that I want to be above. And now, to give the solution to the whole system, you need to shade the one region that works for both lines. So if I look, my reminder arrows tell me, okay, I need to be above the blue line, and I also need to be above the red line. So if you kind of look at these sections, hold on one second, let me switch here. See how I have, there's a region here, right? There's this region. There's this region. It's kind of a little narrow triangle. There's this region all over here. And then there's this region in between these two. Okay, so when you have two lines, they usually divide your graph into 4 regions. You're only going to shade the one region that works for both. So I need to be above the red line and the blue line at the same time. So what region does that? Hopefully you're looking at this one right here. This region is above both the blue line and the red line. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. If you had shaded over here, let's say, I'm gonna just do it in green. If you had shaded this part, yes, that part is above the blue line, but it's not above the red line. So that's why this one doesn't work. Okay? So if you had shaded over, shaded that yellow region, and picked a point that I shaded over in yellow, any point you want in the whole wide world, that I shaded over in yellow, it should work in not just one of those inequalities, but both. That's the whole point. It would work in both of them. If you had picked a point over here, like if you plugged in this point right here, what is this, 3, 5? 3, 5 would work in the blue one, but it would not work in the red one. So that's a great way for you to check as well. All right, so the solution to this system is everything that I have shaded over in yellow. Okay, and it does include the lines, that's why they're solid. Yeah, but that's how you do a system of inequalities in two variables. How cool. Okay, let's try another one. So we'll shimmy over to number 2. Ooh, actually, do I want to do number, I'm going to come back to number 2 because I just want to do one more kind of regular one before I show you one like that. Okay, so I'll come back to 2. Hopefully I don't forget. All right, so I'm going to graph the top one in green. So let's graph that like normal. I would start at 3 and I would go up 1 over 1. I would connect these with a solid line. Okay. And I would shade y is less than, so I would shade below this. So again, I'm just going to draw myself. These little reminder arrows are not part of the graph. It's just to remind me so I don't have to go back and think about it again later. Okay, now let's switch to red for this bottom one. I'm going to start at -2, and then I'm going to go down 4 over 1. So down 4 over 1 puts me just a smidge outside my graph. So let's try going up 4, back 1. Okay, again, okay, so this one, interesting. This one does not have the bar underneath. So this one does not get connected with a solid line. This one just gets dashed lines all the way down. Okay, so there's the red one. And now I'm going to look right here. Y is less than. So I do want to be below the red line. So just like before, I have 4 regions going on here. What's the one region that works for both of them? I want to be below the green and I want to be below the red. So hopefully you are in agreement with me that right here is that one region that is below the green and also below the red. Okay, does that make sense? I want to be below both in this case. All right, so let's go back up to number 2. Okay, the reason why I skipped over this one was just because this one's got a Hoy box, and I just wanted to do one more example before we got to a Hoy box. But we're here now. So I'm looking at this one. This one does not have an X in it at all. It's just a Y. So I'm not going to be dealing with that. So this is a Hoy. It's a horizontal line at -2. Okay, and then I also asked myself, is this going to be a solid line or a dotted line? Hopefully you're saying solid because it does have the bar underneath. So horizontal line at -2. There we go. And then I'm going to ask myself, it says y is less than, so that would be shading below. So just putting my reminder arrows to remind me I want to be below that red line. Okay, let's do the bottom line in green. Y is greater than or equal to x minus 3. So we're going to start at -3, and then I'm going to go up 1 over 1. Okay, so I'm pretending that the red line's not even there. This one is also going to get connected with a solid line. And I would shade for this one, y is greater than or equal to. So I want to shade above this. So at the end of the day, I want to be above the green line and below the red line. So where is that? Sounds like we're taking the tea in Boston with all these lines here, right? Okay, below the red, above the green. It's got to be this region right here. And I'm putting in yellow. Okay. Hopefully that one makes sense. All right, so if it's a Hoy-Vox, just graph it like you normally would. Then all the same rules apply. Okay, one last one to do together, number 4. Let's check this one out. Okay, so we're gonna do the top one in yellow, starting at -2, and then my slope is 1/3. So up 1 over 3, up 1 over 3, put me right about there. This one is going to get connected with a dashed line because it does not have that or equal to bar underneath. So dash, oh dear, hold on. Okay. Let's see, and I want y is greater than, so I would be my reminder arrows to just remind myself I'm going to be above that yellow line. Okay, let's switch to, let's do green. Yellow and green, old school colors. Okay, -1. And where are we gonna go? We're gonna go up 1 over 3. Up 1 over 3. Put me one more over here. Okay, and this one's going to be solid. All right. Now, what do you notice about these two lines? Unfortunately, maybe you don't notice because I didn't draw them very well, but hopefully you see that they're, what's the word? Parallel. Now, I know you might be thinking, oh, parallel, no solution, moving on. So that's not necessarily true anymore. It might be no solution, but it's probably not going to be. It could be, but it might not be. Here's how we know. So I just graphed the green line. Let's put my reminder arrows. Where do I want to be? Y is less than or equal to. So I want to be below the green line. Well, isn't there a region that's above the yellow and below the green? Yeah, in this case, the space in between the two parallel lines is actually a solution. Weird. So now you can have parallel lines that have solutions. Okay? Because it's, remember, it doesn't necessarily have to be the lines at all. It could be just, I just want to be everything that's below the green and above the yellow. And I do have that. Now, real quick, let's just talk about if I had another different pair of parallel lines, right? And I was supposed to be below this one and above this one. These would have no solution because there is no region that's below. I should have done different colors. Hang on. Give me a sec. So let's say if I want to be above this one, and let's switch to green. Let's say here was your, yeah. So if you want to be above the red and below the green, well, there is no region that does both those things. That's above the red and below the green. So this particular one would have no solution. What if you wanted to be above the red and above the green? Where's the solution? Is it right here? No, because that area is not above the red. Is it here? No, of course not, because that's not above either line. Is it here? Yes, it is above the red and it is above the green. So that would be the region that works for both. Okay, so parallel lines, you don't automatically know the answer. You got to graph them. They could look different. So just try them, see what they say, and then you can always plug in a point to double check your answer at the end. All right, give them a shot.